Hi, this is Luis Rai, Fleming team leader, and I'm going to do a small demonstration of the project. This is our first uh, captive portal that we have decided to keep for now, and then we have four different login individuals. First one is owner. Let's go with the owner first. So once they go inside, they will read here in our project folder. We have assets where we have basically all the assets, right? And then, but the main asset for each pages will be inside the PHP views. As you can see here, we have asset for the pages where it includes the header, and then common JS is pretty much like common JS, which is used throughout the whole project in all the pages, and then footer is kind of like same. It is also like called in pretty much all the pages. Uh, Guest header. So this will be like the header for the guest. So it is kind of like I'll show you in a minute how it looks like. Why we have a separate header for the guest, and then owner header is different. Script. This script is again inside the footer, and then footer is called inside the page. So that's how we are manipulating our calling system throughout the asset. And then next one we have here final is kind of like what we have decided to go with for the final, but we have here owner, which is like our playground where we used to do the testing of our code. If we want to do any changes, don't want to mess around with the main files, just play around with this. So these files you might see a lot of different features, and some of them are messed up, like that it doesn't work and stuff. But these are like a playground. Like here we just practice it out, and then once everything is ready to go, and just copy and paste the code here up in the final folder. So right now we are in the dashboard. We still got the HTML to simplify the process, because PSP is pretty much like wherever we need the iteration or we need any logic to be implemented, then only we're using PSP. So for our main front end UI, we were using HTML in the very beginning, and then we shifted to the PSP so that it will be really nice when we are implementing the database or the backend section. So here we go in a dashboard. So we are giving a small portion of data set for the iteration which are done underneath here. So the dashboard.php is what we are looking at here, where we are showing what's the total bandwidth used in the specific month and the specific week. So for January 2025, fourth week of January 2025, Monday this amount, and Tuesday this amount, Wednesday, Thursday, and so on. So this is pretty much that. And then next table we have here is an active user, where we show who are they, and then how much they are using. So yeah, like in average of 5 minutes. It's literally saying here. And then last active means when were they active, means when were they online or using your data. So John Doe was using my internet access 4 minutes ago, and Alex Doe was using 1 minute ago, and guest user one is active right now. So that's how we have decided to go on. Next one we have here is active online devices. This one we're showing which devices are online right now, and then how much they have been consuming throughout their online session or the connectivity session. For example, device one, when it was connected to the host, it's been using 10 GB in total. So this device can be of anyone else. And then Below we have when it used by the user. It's pretty much kind of same like this, but it'll give you the total of how much they are using in average day to day. We're doing it per day, so it's an average for each day. So it might be we are considering each day and getting the average out here, and then device status. This is showing the status of the device which is giving the hotspot connection to the other clients. So this is the main host device, and it's showing all the status. Like the information might be different when we integrate the backend part, but this is what we um, came up with. Like we can even show this in a graph and stuff, but I think this is more straightforward. But depending on the information what we are trying to show here, it might get uh, different result. Like if something can be represented more precisely in graph, then we should use graph. But for now, we have here the straightforward information of the host device. Next one we have here is user management. Again, back in the code, we got user management is probably this one. Let me check. So this is a user table. So user management or user table is this one. User table.php. Again, we are using the dummy data to populate the tables here. Here, the main feature is to filter the information, like whatever the information you want filtered by name or by username, or sorry, by user ID, username, or status here. The status can be active, inactive, and off. So active, inactive is again if they are online or not. And then we have a pagination. Simple, pretty much they come with the template that we are using, and then add user throw you to the add user page, and similarly if you go here add user throw you to the similar page. And then once you click on any of these, for example, if I click on any client, then I'll be uh, redirected to the edit user information for the specific user. And then it's kind of same here. When you click on any person here, you'll get thrown to the edit page. So add user, we have a form validation and phone number. I'm gonna go. This should not be accepted, right? So there are still some tweaks that can be implemented here, like phone number can only be numbers and specific uh, limit and all. And we can even put the you know, regional code for every country. Like for example, for this one we use +977. No one wants to type that every time they put their phone number, right? So those are a few changes we can do. And generate is pretty much generate a simple password, but it kind of look hideous, but but we can, again, this is using a dummy data set, so this can be changed in future. Email, and then once everything is there, let's say admin, and then there is a notification and all. Again, that can be found here. We have a separate for the JS. So there is a separate file for the navigation. This should be somewhere here. So here, notification. So this is pretty much a code for notification, what kind of notification you want, and this is a default template that can be used in any of the pages wherever you need notification. So it's in the user folder. I don't know why it's there, but it's there. So this is a default notification, uh, and then this can be manipulated however uh, we want to implement in any section of our pages. So delete or successful, like I just showed you the successful one, and then many other cases. So the next part is here. Yeah, obviously you can delete, edit, pretty much all crowd operation. And next one is FAQ. It is also the same. We came up with the idea to put an edit icon here. Instead of clicking on the question and answer, again, the add new, it'll just throw you in a section where you can add question and answer. This is just a template. You can remove this and add a new one. And then yeah, pretty much the table functionality. Next one is feature toggle. This is a huge one. So here owner comes in and start tweaking the configuration of how he or she wants to um, keep their hotspot open. Do they want the payment functionality? Do they want to restrict any user in any way possible, like data limits and stuff? And then URL restriction. Yes, this is by default on because there might be some URL which is inappropriate for the school and any kind of business or anywhere else. And then guest internet access restriction. So if I restrict this, there should not be the button where it says, do you want to log in as a guest? No, because I'll restrict that. I don't want any guest user. But we're gonna have that feature activated here because that's kind of like a controlling part of the web page. So that goes to the backend side, and then speed lane is pretty much, do you want to put a speed lane or do you want to give whatever they like, I mean whatever they can receive from the hotspot. So if you turn on speed lane and data setting percentage is okay, you have this much of data, and then you are trying to share 50% of what you have, that will be 100%. You can tweak this any way you like. I should not keep the 100%, but some people might like to share their full data. And then this also works. If that helps, someone might not be able to get a specific number from the slider, so we have these. And this small icon will give you the specific idea of what each of these toggle and the configuration does. Again, these are dummy text we have there. This can be changed from the backend section. Uh, and then restriction is placed where when you turn on the speed lane and all, you'll be able to see this. So we have 3 lane, low, mid, and high. So how much data they will be accessing when they are assigned in a specific tier, speed tier. And then this is a default assignment for the type of the user. So guest user, no, I want them to use the low one because I want my regular user to get the mid, and then admins to use the high. Or there might be some other regular user who wants a high. This is where you tweak your settings for the default purpose, but these can be changed in the user settings individually as well. But this is what it gets. So this should be connected to the user addition, and whatever these values are set in the database, that should be picked whenever I'm trying to add any user. So that is our concept here. Again, these dots will show you uh, what it actually is, and then remove, add, it's pretty much the same. And then report section is where we are trying to get any information of specific user, device, or whatever. And then if I go user and I need to select user, and then if you want device as well, like okay, user 2 and the smartphone. So smartphone for the user 2, that will be the narrowed down filter for this report section. But again, we are using dummy data, and when we run the report, this is what we expect to see. And then if they want to download or export in any kind of file format, that is also available here. So if we go back to the navigation and see the next one, we have a broadcast message. So here you can broadcast any kind of messages, like announcement, I would say, to all the users. So this goes to all the users. So I want to say uh, alert, storm coming, will be offline for full from full to 18. So I'll just post it, and everyone should be able to see in the notification. So that is notification or a message. So notification is per announcement and stuff. And if there is any payments or uh, any updates or anything, and this message box is for the direct message. So direct message will uh, be kind of like this. So it's one-on-one session or support, and then result. I don't know why it's saying twice. Open market result. Okay, I see. So this is a conversation that's been going on with my client right now. So that's how it is going to sit here. I think I should be able to search. No? Okay. So database engine needs to be added there, and then once I open this, I should be able to see all the history that we have been talking about. This will be the main uh, ticket, why they opened the ticket, or what was the main concern for this conversation. If it stays on top, it will be really helpful. So if I click on add and comment, I can type it in, and then so admin. So here you go, just like that. And once it's resolved, mark as resolved, and then it should come like this, and then it should stay at very bottom. So I don't want resolved to be on top. So it's kind of looking stupid. And then that's pretty much it for the owner. And then let's go with the admin section. I forgot to review the code part. So for the owner, the dashboard PSP FAQ form. This is just a form, and then this is the table, again the feature, this is the toggle feature, and then restriction page is right here, post is the announcement or anything, report displays where you display the report, and then support is the page where we just clicked. This is the edit user page, this is the add user page, sorry, user table. It says user management there, and then this is the add form. uh, Check user table, this is another user table. It's a check means it's not the proper one that we are using. This is to check. We can delete this, but I like to keep it just so that we have some backup in the future. And chat is once you click on the uh, support session that's been going, then you'll be thrown to the chat section. Let's look into the admin. Admin will have less features because I don't want them to mess around with the owner device configuration. So they will only get FAQ management. Dashboard is pretty much the same. I don't want to repeat that. And then manage FAQ, and then user management. They obviously need to have this, and then support is support. They'll be the go-to people for every client to talk things out and then solve the problem. If they can't find their reasonable answer for the query from the FAQ section, and the user management is also pretty much same. So if I put log out and then go for the user, switch user, yes. Okay, so I'm acting as a sleep right now. So my username is this. We're not trying to expose the password here. It's not a big thing, but yeah. Uh, Bandwidth allocated is okay. I got 150 bandwidth, and then my data transfer rate is low lane. And then I have these devices I've used this month, and this is my main device where I registered first, and this one I added later on. So FAQ is where they are going to find all the frequently asked questions and try to help themselves out to figure out the process of using the system, and then instruction is pretty much the user guidelines, how they can navigate around and stuff. Support is where they put the title and the details, where it goes to the other section to the admin and the owner, and they'll see the topic and the uh, questions there, right? So that's what we saw previously, and this is what the user view will be. So okay, my this query is resolved, my this query is resolved, so this one is not. So if I click into it again, I'll get thrown back to the chat section. It's pretty much same, right? So I start commenting here, hey, this is not fixed yet, can you help me out? Something like that. And then, as I told you, the feature about letting the guest user log in or not. So once you click on here, they'll have a small terms and condition listed here if they want to go through it. Usually people don't. And unless you click on here, you won't get the activation of the button. It's pretty straightforward. And then once you click on login and guest, because we are not trying to get any information for the guest user, they won't be our permanent user, and they'll see like, okay, these are the site I will be able to access. So if I am here trying to check my messages on Facebook, oh, why don't we use this hotspot? Now you will only be able to use these two websites. So this will give a user a pretty good idea about what is his browsing range, his or her browsing range. So they don't have anything in the see, just the log out and navigation is plain. So this is what I was talking about when I was showing the asset for the pages. So that's pretty